All righty, everybody. Oh, happy day. I hope you're doing just insanely well. We've got a very special guest here. We've got Jeff Root from Digital BGA. We're going to be bringing you some amazing final expense telesales tips that you may want to take advantage of. We're going to give you some inside baseball on how you can become a beast. So first off, get your pen and paper ready. Jeff Root's going to drop some good stuff for you. Thanks for joining us today. And my name's Jason. I'm your friend in the business. We do run a national agency here at jasonfinalexpense.com. We do recruit and partner with powerful agents. So free resources always for your taking. Thanks for joining me, Jeff. Say, hey, thank you for being here today.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So Jeff is a beast in the telesales space. He is the man at Digital BGA. Jeff, what could you share maybe your backstory? What brought you in to this place where you started Digital BGA? What was your kind of brainchild behind it? Everything that you've created.
Yeah, so we started Digital BGA. We're a 100% telesales life insurance agency back in 2016. And it was just, between me and my partner who co-founded this with me, Nick, we were to the point where we were doing a lot of volume because telesales is volume business. And we were breaking a lot of systems, a lot of IMO systems. So at the time we were doing term life insurance, fully underwritten term life insurance, right? And so there's a lot of case management, underwriting, exam scheduling, all that. Like there's a lot to it. And so when we were pumping a bunch of volume with our agency, we broke a lot of systems and they said, okay, it's too much work for too little of override. And then, we go to a different agency. Then we break their systems. Like, you know what? Nobody can take us right now. Let's build our own. And so, both of us with a few thousand policies under our belts, just working at call centers in the past, and also, independently as well, we just kind of figured out the telesales game and building technology, generating our own leads, and just building an agency that just sells 100% over the phone. Because at the time it didn't exist, right? People also sold over the phone, but nobody just focused on telesales. That's what we wanted to build. And that's how Digital BGA was formed.
I love that. That is so awesome. It sounds like you had very similar past to my telesales background. You did telesales prior to, jumped into this, and then just started beating up the system, sounds like. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, that's not normal. Most of these agencies out there, as you and I both know, they're post C-word agencies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how you broke the system. How many calls did you get during the C-word of people going, Jeff, hey, I need your script. Jeff, can you share with me your telesales script? What are y'all doing? How many calls did you get? Was your phone just like blowing up?
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I wrote a book called The Digital Life Insurance Agent on Amazon back in 2016. And so I had this following of people when we started Digital BGA that read the book, that were ready, to back us in whatever we did. So that was really helpful. And that was a big piece of us getting a good start.
So awesome. And it's important for the viewers to know how, you've been in this for a long time. Prior to, you ran telemarketing call centers. Prior to, you had that experience. You didn't jump into the insurance world, go, oh, let me just grab a piece of paper and figure this out and make paper. I mean, you've made great paper in the industry, 100%. But
yeah, I mean, I was a captive agent when I started at Northwestern Mutual, right? I was a financial advisor, Series 7 licensed, got through my first year and ran out of people to talk to and bought a batch of leads and was going to work them locally. And one guy told me that he was maybe a few blocks away and he said, just mail it to me. It's like, he didn't want to see me. Like, all right. So I mailed him an app and it was like a $4,000 app and he mailed it right back. His assistant delivered it to our office. And I was like, wait, what just happened here? And that was kind of the light bulb moment for me for telesales. Like, some people just don't want, even if they're down the block, they don't want to be seen. And, and for me, that was a light bulb moment. And that's where I started my path in telesales, started, some lead gen stuff and working on marketing, then to a call center and then to Digital BGA. Yeah.
Love that, Jeff. That's so awesome. And Jeff, for those of you watching, is a pretty darn humble man. So that's pretty huge. I mean, the fact that so many people fail out in this industry, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of the toxicity from face-to-face agents, captive agents that don't have a clue what we do out there. And they think that, telesales has a horrible persistency ratio, that it's not possible to sell over the phone. You can't be profitable, right? And it's like, I guarantee you've got $1 million roundtable agents in your agency, would be my guess. Am I right?
Yep.
And that's what we do as well. And it's like, it's insane. Like our persistency is better than a lot of face-to-face agencies, but there's such a myth out there that telesales is just horrible. It's churn and burn. And, loved your content. For those of you, the viewers, go watch his content. All right. At Digital BGA, subscribe. I'll put his information down in the description, but great content on that. How, your agency is very similar, where you don't have these persistency issues that are really an irritant for these face-to-face players that are just not understanding what you swim in.
Yeah. Look, if we're talking final expense, right? A certain percentage is going to fall off the books. And that's just part of the business that agents have to deal with, whether you're face-to-face or telesales. But to perpetuate the myth that face-to-face is much better than telesales persistency wise, and that you'll get killed with chargebacks is a complete lie, right? It's something where anybody who's telling you that is misinformed, or they have an agenda to recruit you. There's something behind it. They may, and a lot of times they are just misinformed because they heard it from somebody else. And that's what's kind of getting perpetuated out there. And if you do the right things that telesales agents are supposed to do, then you will have the same or better persistency than a face-to-face agent. You will. It's just that, in some agents, they will have a terrible persistency. And a lot of the agencies kind of fail out of the business because of roll-up debt and whatnot, because they didn't train agents right. You can't write a final expense life insurance application in 10 minutes and expect to have good persistency. You just can't, right? There's a process to it. So I think that's what they're assuming telesales is like, that we're just slamming deals, hang up the phone, picking up, making a phone call, writing an app and then putting the phone. It's not like that. And so I think there's this myth out there, and I just wanted to squash that myth. And I know and your persistency, like I think you were just saying, is really good, as compared to face-to-face agents as well.
Crazy high, but it's because we're not rushing, just like you guys. It's kind of the same idea, where we're not spending 10 minutes on a call and going, hey, how quick can I get this call over, Jeff? How quick can I get this done so I can move on to my next great, a lot of these car salesman type systems out there, and it's caustic. I don't care how long it takes on that call. Take care of the consumer, take care of their problems, take a pause, relax, right? Enjoy it. You just listen to how many dial tones and people have told you to go somewhere that wasn't heaven, right? You got to enjoy it. And then when you get that sale, let it simmer, just like a good soup. Let it hang a little bit. And it's amazing how your persistency is massive. We've got tons of agents that are in the mid 80s and higher of persistency. And it's even with card business, we're talking like a carrier that does true Social Security billing. And it's insane to watch. And you got a couple agents that are way less, of course, but you got independent
probably
agents,
talking
right?
about Prosperity, right?
Absolutely.
You're probably talking Prosperity. They're
exactly
fantastic.
right.
And they just started. And this should tell you something. Like, if they just started to advance for direct express business, they're comfortable with that now, because they see the data on it. A direct express card, Social Security billing, like true Social Security billing, if you bill correctly and you actually draft when you're supposed to draft, it's not that bad as people make it out to be.
Card business is amazing. There's a reason why Prosperity Life will advance now on card business for direct express. That's unheard of in this industry. Now, if we're talking about the carrier that ends in a G, for everyone watching, no, you're not going to be in the mid 80s of persistency, or even the low 80s. The company ends in a G, you're in trouble. The billing's sloppy. It's not good, right? I don't know if your experience is that, but that's my experience with the company that ends in G, guaranteed issue kind of stuff. It's not good for that carrier. Do you guys experience that too, or do you even touch that carrier?
So with GI carriers, your persistency is always going to be bad. When I say bad, it's going to be much worse than your level or true graded business, right? So, that's just part of final expense. Like, if you're going to write GI, just expect the persistency to be lower on your GI business. It is.
We've got no shame in it. I'm sure you guys are the same way. It will help anybody. They need our help. It's like they need us out there. If somebody needs this for GI, we'll graciously write it. It's not a big deal. And some folks in the industry are like, you know what? I'm too good for that business. I won't touch if it's not checking. I'm checking out. And that's just, we don't work that way here at Jason Final Expense. I'm sure you guys don't either. It's just, this is an important thing. People first, product later.
we're here to protect families. And if they have a direct express card, that doesn't mean they're any less important than the family that doesn't, right? They have a bank account, right?
100%.
So, and yeah, same thing. If they can't qualify because of their health and they can only qualify for GI, they're no less important protecting their family than somebody else. So I get it. You want to,
Exactly.
the agents that walk away from GI and DE business, that's fine. It's a decision and I'm sure it works out fine. But if you're here to protect families, I would say go and write that business. If they want it, sell it to them.
Absolutely. It's like we're licensed to go protect people. We need to honor that. It's kind of like an unspoken code, in my opinion. It's like if you're an insurance agent, go guard people. That's what we're doing every day and what you guys are doing every day. And crazy proud of you guys' background and how you are beasts taking care of great people. There's very few sometimes in this industry that are actually trying to protect people. A lot of folks in the industry are just into the rah and the churn and burn and go team submit and, kind of the, not that there's anything wrong with leaderboards, but sometimes leaderboards will leave you going, there's only 2 to 3 whole agents that made money. You want to talk about what happened to everybody else? They broke.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. The industry really is a minefield. There's so much that can go wrong, whether you're not trained correctly, whether you're working wrong types of leads, whether you're, there are a lot of things that can contribute to persistency and quality of business. And if you're even able to turn a profit on these things, technology systems, a lot of people they're out there picking up the phone and hand dialing that we talk to, just like you don't click to call or you don't have a voice. It's crazy to think that people are trying to make telesales work and some are selling over Zoom. And that's crazy to me as well. To me, that's nuts. Yeah. I don't get it.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You're looking at everybody's nose hairs and ears hairs. Come on, man. That's horrible. Yeah. Like it's tough enough to do telesales without putting one more roadblock in your way.
Yeah. So,
man,
it's tough. You really got to align with, and that's why I think YouTube's great. Like when I saw you, Jason, on YouTube, like I could tell that what you're doing, you're making people successful, and that anybody goes to you. And there's others, like there's Justin out there. There's a bunch of others that are putting out great content, and anybody who aligns with agencies that are really transparent like that and showcasing what it's about, that's good, right? But when you go to somebody who, let's just call it one of the MLM carriers with 3 letters, and they have hybrid systems where you can sell face-to-face, or you could sell over the phone, or you could sell over Zoom. Okay, which one is it? Which one do you specialize in? What kind of systems do you have, right? What is it that you are truly good at? You can't be great at all of them. You're not great at all of them. So, a lot of people coming from agencies just, weren't trained correctly. And I feel bad because there's a lot of telesales agents that have failed out of the business that would have done great under a different system. And so I love seeing channels like yours and Justin's and so many others out there. There's Summit, there's so many out there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I appreciate that, brother. It's a blessing to be able to serve great folks. And we see a lot of people, in the industry that when we talk about leads, there's organizations that are just face-to-face players, post C-word agencies and in group or life. And they're like, go use direct mail leads for telesales. It's like, what in the world? Right. It's like, this is like, if you've never swam in these waters, you're going to sink. It's just going to hurt you. And we've seen it. We've seen this too. We're in places that end in the hybrid model. It's horrible. And some agents don't get a second chance to come back. You've only got so much lead spend. Like you get hurt. So yeah, it's ugly. So yeah, you see it being in this industry as long as you have. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So with you guys in telesales, we'll kind of jump into what sets you all apart as well. Your persistency is powerful, which is huge. Any good telesales player will have good persistency. The bad ones won't. That's a big identifier of good agencies. Really and for those of you, the viewers watching, if you're thinking about partnering with any kind of telesales organization like Jeff Root at digitalBGA or myself at Jason Final Expense or Justin or anybody that's been in the industry for a little bit, make sure that you vet your trainers, my friends. Make sure that you vet your agency. Make sure that they've done telesales prior to the C word. Prior to is very, very important. Jeff has done this prior to the C word. All right. My organization has been in telesales for a long time. We know what we're doing. I've done telesales before I even stepped into the insurance industry for years, not just minutes. this stuff matters, and it matters because success breeds success. You want to be in a position like Jeff someday. Well, you got to just make sure you vet your trainer, make sure you're talking to people at the top of the food chain, not these hybrid agencies or places that go, hey, we do face-to-face. And then, oh, by the way, we just started doing telesales a year or 2 or 3 ago, and go book a Calendly or go try to talk to somebody that'll train you. This stuff's important to your translation for success, my friends. It's just, I'm trying to warn you, the audience, if you're watching this deep in the video, it's important. Good
100%.
people will be very real with you. You may get your feathers fluffed with some of these places that may start with an F. We'll just leave it at that, right, Jeff? Yeah. So awesome, brother. So with telesales, what would you say, just like before we dive into your tips on telesales in general, what would you say is the one critical piece to remember to keep your business on the books, besides slowing down and not being done with the call as fast as possible? But so many agents get victim to this. I've got some agents in my agency that just recently were like, man, I was on that call, Jason, for like 2+ hours. I need to get it down to 45 minutes. And I'm like, no, you don't, unless you want to fail out. Be happy they liked the sound of your voice for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, right? You'll keep that business on the books forever.
Right. So. Exactly. But I mean, really the key is your presentation. It trumps everything else. Because the myth perpetuated about final expense persistency being bad from these Florida-based call centers that were just slinging final expense over the phone about 6 or 7 years ago. And they just rolled up a ton of debt because once they got a bunch on the books, and then it started falling off. And about a year or two later, they went out of business and rolled all that debt up to some carriers. And the carriers like, I'm not working with telesales. And, it was an uphill battle to win the opportunity to sell over the phone with some final expense carriers. And that's what kind of happened. But so I say this with all, it sounds so like an easy answer, right? But really your presentation, like a full rapport building, value building presentation, being completely authentic with somebody over the phone so they get to see who you are and, and deliver the presentation with conviction. Like if you're able to do that and you're able to just connect with the people on the other end of the phone, that's how you keep business on the books, right? And then you have, the best practices that I'm sure you train on as well. But to me, that's the number one thing. It really is the presentation, because those who cut corners, those who shorten it, those who, try and get to the rates as soon as possible, that's not how you're going to keep business on the books. You may make sales and you may be successful for a little bit, but it's going to come and bite you. It will in the end. And it does for a lot of agencies out there. I've seen so many agencies in 2022 who I thought, like, I see them all over social media. They'd promote, we have these amazing live transfers and these amazing callbacks. And then they did that for about a year and a half and they're done. They're nowhere to be seen. And I have a feeling that it's because of the presentation combined with the leads as well. But because I think lead source has something to do with it as well. But that's for a different topic. I can go way deep on that. But I think presentation is number one, and making sure you're fully in rapport and value building.
Love that. Love that. I hope you, the YouTube audience, were paying attention. That's gold he's dropping to you. And that's big. I mean, I love that where you're talking about not cutting corners, following your systems, going through it and connecting. It's a big deal. We train and teach that all day long here. And it's massive. I love hearing that from you. And so you have obviously your script, right? We've got our proven power script, and guys that cut corners with your script, what normally happens to them, Jeff, for those of the audience?
They don't make it more than a few months in the business. If a few months in the business, they stop buying leads and they fizzle out. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's like everybody wants to cut the corner and try to figure out Jeff, thanks for your system. Now let me just completely screw it up and make it different because I've been in the business for 3 months, 2 years, and I'm going to just change your system. Wow.
Yeah. Look, I'm all about everybody putting their own spin on any script and putting their authentic self and their own humor, their own everything into the script. But you have to follow the process, right? There's a reason it works. And as long as you do that, you're good. But a lot of people think they can skip some corners because it's uncomfortable to ask a few questions, or it's uncomfortable to keep somebody on the phone that long. They have their own hangups, their own assumptions where they think they can do it better. And, I would say if you want to change the script, wait till you're successful first, right? If there's a successful system, people are making a lot of money using the process, using the scripting, the presentation that you're doing, follow it first. And if you want to change it up, do it after you proved yourself. So you have like a constant, like, that you can make money here, and then do it your way. See if you're making as much money that way, if you really want to change it up. But to do it from the start, you're crazy, because you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely. It's like, once you make $1 million round table, then go change your script.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
yeah.
It's like, go be MDRT, go accomplish something, and then go ahead and like modify something once you've made it. That's such wisdom. That is such wisdom. I appreciate you sharing that. That's a big deal. But a lot of agents don't grasp that, and then they don't get success. And this industry is tough enough for you, those of you, the viewers watching, without getting hurt because you tried modifying something that already made people piles of money before you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful with telesales. So we'll dive into now kind of some tips for final expense, telesales specifically. It's definitely a different demographic, amazing people, but wow, these great folks can procrastinate, right? You and I both know that compared to most. What would you say is some of your tips that you would share with the audience that has helped in final expense telesales specifically?
Yeah. So, I could regurgitate a lot of the stuff that I've seen you talk about. I'm trying to stay away from the stuff that I already know.
Brother, it's all on the table.
You've trained on. So no, I'll pick some stuff that we talk about in our agency that really has resonated with agents. Okay. One of the things is, we sell what? If you're selling Facebook leads or outbound leads of any point, you're not selling 90% plus of your leads. You're not, right? And to us, a not interested means not interested right now. And if somebody tells you they're not interested, you make a presentation, they're interested. They were just on the phone for you for however long, 10, 20, 45 minutes. And then then they are not interested. That's BS. They are interested. They're just not interested right now. So anybody who dead files those leads, they're lighting money on fire. Start calling back in a few weeks. They're interested. You just caught them at a bad time. It wasn't the right time. They may be having financial issues. They're maybe having something going on in their life that was overwhelming to them, and call back. So not interested leads, we find a lot of sales in not interested leads from agents who leave our agency, and we go into their not interested leads. Lots of sales there. And that's one thing, because I know a lot of agents only want to focus on the new leads and the opportunities that are easier, the low-hanging fruit, and their follow-ups. But if you don't have money right now, like you're at the point where you bought a couple lead batches and you have a bunch of people that said they're not interested, go back and call those people. I swear you're going to find some opportunity in there.
Absolutely. So go hit your callbacks, folks. It's big. I mean, we do aged leads all the time. You can look at our agent interviews and testimonials playlist, and you'll see this in action, not just from myself, but in tons of others here. Aged leads are amazing. Too many agents are lazy. They'll call a lead once and be like, "Oh, I'm done, Jeff. It's no good. They didn't want nothing." Click. Like, you're not going to make the cash flow if that's how you think about telesales. That's huge. And a lot of agents that fail out didn't find the time to dial either. Have you experienced a little bit of that, where that aged lead is just popping because they didn't dial it more than once or so, or maybe twice?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the most frustrating part, is seeing a lot, agents spend their hard-earned dollars on leads or marketing or anything, and then make a couple dials and not call them again. Or they made a call and they got a hold of somebody and they said, I'm not interested. And then they dead file or put them in a nurture campaign or whatever. I'm like, no, call that person back in a couple of weeks or in a week or a few days later. Even that person requested something. And for some reason at that time during the day, they just didn't want to talk. And they gave you that reflex that you get with any salesperson, any telemarketer that you think is a telemarketer, pick up the call. You're a licensed insurance agent. You're doing a noble thing. You're not a telemarketer. You got to get that through your head and call that person back, because you're worth more than that. All right. The money that you spent to get that person to fill out a form, like you have to keep trying.
It's a big deal. I mean, we're resolving needs. We're resolving the leads all day long. They do need us. For those of you watching, hit that lead like it's your grandma that's going to leave you with the bill if you don't get a hold of her and take care of her. go take care of. She wants to take care of the problem, but we got to get her to pick up the phone. That's not going to happen from us calling once. I mean, it takes persistency, and not everybody in the industry likes being persistent. Have you seen that too? Where not everybody likes being persistent with action.
Yeah. No, I definitely have seen that. I mean, as you've seen, the agents with the most activity, even if they have less skills, if they just pick up their activity, they will outperform the people with the most skills just by outworking them. Absolutely. So anything you lack in presentation, the confidence, look, it's going to come with reps, right? You get your reps in, you get your presentations in, and you'll gain that confidence. You'll gain that conviction in what you're doing. And I think that activity will, and most trainers, telesales trainers will say this, activity levels the playing field. And, to me, that's the number one skill in telesales, is the person who can be on the phone the longest, who can make the dials, even if they're not the best. There's a lot of agents out there who have accents, and they're so self-conscious about their accents and how it affects their sales. There's ways to overcome that by targeting specific niches that, align with the accent. But I see people with accents that outdo the most talented agents just because they want it so bad, and they put in so much activity, and they do so well. And it doesn't matter if you have an accent, it doesn't matter your accent. It matters your authenticity and your, how do I say this? Your conviction in helping a family. That comes across in how you say things. And if you truly care, you'll have a good response, no matter if you have an accent or, there's something where people can't understand you or something like that. Like, there's ways to overcome that stuff. And to me, that's the most inspiring stuff to me, is to see people overcome those sorts of things in their mind, where they came into telesales thinking that they had more of an uphill battle than everyone else. And just to see them kind of come into their own confidence, and because they care and they outwork, and then they realize, okay, that was a limiting belief. And that's the coolest thing when I see people overcome that sort of thing, especially call reluctance. To see people overcome call reluctance is amazing. Once they have some success and they feel it, and they get in this, how do I say it? They just get in a rhythm, and their confidence level just skyrockets, and their call reluctance kind of subsides, right? Because I feel like I'm going on a tangent here, completely going on a tangent, but yeah. But the most influential things that I see when seeing agents is seeing people overcome those sorts of obstacles that are in their head, right? It's just in their head, and to see agents kind of really overcome those is, to me, the best thing in telesales.
Such a blessing. I mean, it is. And activity levels the playing field. For those of you that are taking notes, huge truth bomb he's dropping on you here, folks. You can be flubbing over your own tongue, and activity will level everything. It'll polish you out. It just will. If you only make one call and you wonder why you feel rusty, well, there you go. Activity fixes all your problems. It just does. The reps. Everybody thinks there's real magic. There is real magic in training and sharpening the saw all day long, but you got to see the people. You got to get on the phone. That's big. So activity is a big, big deal. What do you have to be able to, obviously activity fixes things, but with call reluctance, any tips for those viewers that are like, oh man, I've got call reluctance. It's a 9,000-pound gorilla in the room. I can't get that phone off the receiver. This thing's just like killing me here. It's tough to train tall in basketball, as I say, but
yeah, no, I do. And this is a lot different than you've probably heard anywhere else. I know a lot of people have their different sort of canned answers on, think of your why. Why are you doing this? And, listen to some of your favorite songs, get some music, get some motivation, do some sort of augmandino, what are they called? The basically, I'm trying to think of what they were. I'm blanking right now, but
mental jujitsu on
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. And I just like, look, if you have call reluctance, in my opinion, it comes up from how you were brought up. That something in your life, whether you were a kid, teen, whatever, where your parents maybe talked about telemarketers being bad, right? And they maybe hung up or talked about them poorly, or you see it in the movies or on TV where, you think you're bothering people because you're calling them and you think you're one of those people. To me, that's where call reluctance comes from. It's how you're visualizing, how you were brought up to think of telesales. And the only way to fix that is therapy. Honestly, taking a deep look at yourself and getting over it. Like, seriously, get over it, because that, once you overcome that, there's nothing stopping you. And I have, and people in my agency, they probably roll their eyes all the time when I talk about this, because I've seen people just absolutely become beasts who address their past demons. And your past demons could just be that, the way you view telesales. That call reluctance comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. If you address that, and you get over that, then, that's, to me, that's the way to overcome call reluctance. Truly overcome it, not have to fake your mind into making phone calls or anything like that. It may work every once, it may work for a while, but to get it long term, that's what you have to do. Because if you have call reluctance, that's the one thing you got to address first in your business. Like, get over it. And I'm going to plug something real quick. It's called betterhelp.com. It's a therapy thing. You could do it on Zoom, online, have a few sessions, and then stop paying. Right. And seriously, like, and talk about the issue you're having, the call reluctance that you're having, because I think it's just something everybody has to work out on their own. And there's no trick or anything to make the dials.
All these little tricks are nothing but bubble gum on a tire, right? I love the fact that you're sharing this. It's big. It's like there's something going on at the subconscious level that's much deeper here. And you can put bubble gum on a tire and, ooh, rah, rah, I feel great for 2 seconds. But that gut hit within you is still going to be there until you fix it. You got to take your car into the shop and go get that tire fixed so that you can go 100 miles an hour down the freeway. Well, you probably shouldn't do that for the rest of you viewers watching this, but you can, wink, wink, do certain things, and you won't blow everything, right? And it's like, if your mind's not right, everything else unravels normally.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the mental game's pretty strong? I teach that real heavy here too. I don't know, is the mental game a big thing for you over there at Digital BGA?
It is. It absolutely is. Most agents who don't make it just don't do the activity. And those who don't do the activity, there's something going on that's stopping them from doing the activity. They want it. They bought leads. They went through training, like they want it, but something made them freeze. And they may have made some calls and had some no's and think like these leads are trash. That's an excuse. You only made a few calls. They may be comparing themselves to leaderboards, like these agents are doing well. Why are they getting the good leads and I'm getting the bad leads? Or they may make some sort of excuses, in that way. And to me, that's somebody who mentally isn't strong, and they're placing blame on somebody else but themselves. And there's a reason. And one of the reasons that Digital BGA has a really good reputation out there, you don't see many people blasting us, former agents blasting us, because we have our own technology, right? And so we see how many calls agents are making to their leads. All leads go through our technology. So the ones that do, we can say, well, you never called your leads. How could you blame this on us? And here's the screenshot, right? And that's what it comes down to. Every agent who fails out at Digital BGA, we, as an agency, we have calls. We look to see what happened here, right? And 99% of the time, it's activity. They just didn't make the calls, right? That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big reason of failure. We've had agents that we've trained, and we train for 5 days straight here before an agent touches a phone line. It's like 5 days of training. Some is pretty brutal and tough so that they can hopefully translate with crazy success, which they do. I'm proud of our work family. Heavy. Love them so much. We do just fun work together as partnerships, but it's not for sissies. It's hard work. And even some folks, there's some that will get trained and then they'll get to maybe a couple of weeks and go, "Oh, Jason, this just isn't for me. I bought a couple leads, but I couldn't pick up the phone. And this just isn't for me." They thought they could do it and just didn't pick up the phone. And it's like, oh, that's just, and it's that inner, that something's going on the inside that they didn't address, as you were speaking to.
And you're absolutely right. So the mental game is huge. And there's really no way to screen that, unfortunately, because everybody's going to say that they're going to do the work, that they'll, and their intention is there and they really want to. But when push comes to shove, when you're ready to make that first dial and you're ready to jump in, that's where you're going to find if this is going to be for you or not. And it's okay if it's not for you. At least you learn that. But to us, we haven't found a good way to really screen that out. And we don't want to screen that out because people have surprised us, like absolutely surprised us, who we thought, okay, this person, we have something we call NGMI, not going to make it, right? Because their attitude or there's something, and it's just like an internal thing that we have, NGMI. And the NGMIs, we've been proven wrong a couple times. Right. And I love it. I absolutely love it, because it makes me better, not to do that. But the agents who didn't make the calls the first week, and they really were, because there are exceptions where agents just need a little bit of extra something, whether it's carrier training or there's something where that the confidence isn't there. Or maybe their head's not right in life. They're just going through something, So anyway, but yeah, the mental game is important. And, it absolutely is a differentiator between top producers and agents who are just struggling to make it.
Love that. And what, from your top producers, what is maybe a tip that they maybe do that maybe your other lower producers don't do? What is like one of their things that you teach where it's like, okay, our top producers do maybe more of this as opposed to that?
Yeah. So what I find a lot of a difference between top producers and agents at the bottom is, and this may seem super simple. So sticking to one lead source, whether you're taking TV calls, Facebook leads, calendar leads, whatever it is, stick to one and master one, because they're all different. They're all different approaches depending on how you're speaking with them. And if you're taking a bunch of different lead sources, which is what agents like to do in the beginning, they like to test a bunch at the same time, that's not going to work, because you need to get good at one specific lead. And the agents at the top of the leaderboard, they're working a single lead source, right? And they just get really good. They know what to expect. It's second nature. They know what smoke screens are coming at the beginning of the call. And they know, what sort of advertising they saw on TV. They know, everything about the person who they're about to get on the phone with. And that's so important to get in that rhythm and to work the same lead source and not get distracted, because we have this thing where we teach internally when agents are getting started that if you make $1 in 2 weeks, keep pushing. If you spent $1,000 on leads and you got $1,001 deposited in your account, you're on the right track, right? You have a pipeline of leads. You have follow-ups that are going to start hitting, right? So a lot of agents in the very beginning think that, if I made $1 in 2 weeks or whatever, I broke even in 2 weeks.
Sure.
And they quit because they see all these people doing really well, but those agents have months, years of pipeline, of referrals, of people who they talked to months, year ago, who finally start buying, right? And so if you can make a lead source work in the first 2 weeks, I'm talking not annual premium equaling what you paid in, I'm talking deposit in your bank account, more than $1, or even around there, right? You're on the right track. Keep pushing, keep buying. It's going to work in the next 60 days. You will be profitable, very profitable. You'll be able to live off of this. And so that's a mindset thing. And you do that. If you change lead sources, you start all over again, right? Because if they're sticking to that lead source, they are really mastering that call. If it's an outbound call, they're mastering what the beginning looks like. They're getting used to it. They're going to get better. They're going to convert a higher percentage of their leads. And, you just need when you're a new agent, you just need to understand there's runway involved. You need runway to make this work. And so, one of the things we also teach as well, financially speaking, and I have a lot of people disagree with this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. And you may disagree with this as well. I always say, get a business credit card and finance your first 30 days, your first 4 weeks of leads, and pay it off in 30 days, because that money will have been deposited. And then you just bought yourself 30 days of cash flow. And you're probably earning points on those on the credit card there.
Right.
There's no interest if you pay it off. And that's just a business thing that you can do when you're first starting in this business to cash flow this, and not stop because you only made $1 in 2 weeks. Right. So that's really big. I think agents really need to understand, like when coming up, just how much cash flow affects them. And because it's kind of scary in the beginning when you put all this money in and you only receive, a little bit of profit after 2 weeks, right, to make it work. So just know that you're onto something if you're doing that, to keep pushing, keep getting better. And that's something we train on internally as well. And if you didn't make profit in the first 2 weeks, yeah, there's probably an issue there you need to address, and you can weigh it from there. So.
No, that's big. I mean, agents need leads. It's important. And it's like you're like a person that has lung problems, right? And someone's stepping on your oxygen tube when you don't have leads. It's like you start hyperventilating as an agent if you don't have enough leads, and you need the laws of large numbers on your side. You need them, especially at the beginning, because a lot of these companies, as Jeff and I know, they buy now, they pay later. So you may not get paid until the third of next month when that money comes in and hits. And then now you got to cash flow yourself. And everybody in this industry wants success in a day. They do, but it takes daily discipline. It takes daily doing the same things without losing faith, and keeping high action, and keeping with the script, right? Not screwing it up and doing your own thing. And you got to keep hustling. It's tough. And buying leads, you're going to get sales, for those of you watching, sometimes off that batch of leads. You bought $1,000 worth of leads. You're going to get, as Jeff's saying, maybe you get $1,001 in your first couple hits, but then there's going to be so much more juice in that squeeze in the months that follow. This is like setting up dominoes. Our top agents buy leads consistently every week, sometimes twice a week, and they set them up like dominoes. And when they stay in that rhythm, it's real magic. It's crazy. It's like a pipeline of productivity, pipeline of paper that's coming to them, and a lot of people that they get to bless and take care of because they're so systematic. And you got to buy leads. As Jeff's saying here, you've got to buy leads. If you've got to go the card route, like he's saying, hey, not going to disagree with that. You have to capitalize yourself. You have to, because if you don't have enough leads, you're going to lose. You're going to lose all day long.
100%.
You can't buy 20 leads, right, Jeff, and go, okay, let's see what happens. Does that work?
Yeah, no, that does not work. You cannot evaluate. You won't get any data to evaluate off 20 leads. There's just not, you don't have enough data to evaluate the lead at all. So yeah, I mean, you ask like difference between top producers and, newer agents, right? So that's one, stick to a lead source, right? So I would say another thing that top producers do over, newer agents is they have a lead carrier, somebody they go to. I mean, they get the first right of refusal on their business. This is where they're going to, right? By doing that, your placement rate will go up, which means bigger profits. More of the business you write will place. That's huge. That's one of the levers you can pull to earn more profits in the business, just getting your placement rate up. So, if you have that conviction in the carrier, in your scripting, the prospect will feel it on the phone because you are talking about it as you're setting up the sale, right? As you're setting up the rates and the carrier, right? You're going to free up your mental bandwidth to work with other parts of your business if you just pick a lead carrier. So that's what we train on as well. Have a lead carrier, qualify for that trip, right? Get to know them or the bonuses or whatever they're doing, right? Your placement rate will go up. You're making your business simple. So we don't agree with writing all the carriers that are available to everybody. That's fine. You get contracted. There's niche situations where it makes sense.
Sure.
to do that. But to have a lead carrier is something all top producers have at our agency. They all pick a lead carrier. It's different. Honestly, it's different. It's not a single lead carrier that they're all agreeing on. They just have their favorites and they roll with them. So.
And I love that. I mean, that's what we do the same thing here. We've got lots of carriers, we're kind of like that, guy in a trench coat in New York. You want to watch? We got lots of carriers, right? But it's like, we don't use them all. It's a niche situation, and the riches in this industry are in the niches. Listen to the gold that, Jeff's dropping on you here, folks. It's important. Find a carrier that you like, just like ice cream. I may like vanilla with sprinkles. Jeff, what's your favorite ice cream, brother? Put you on the spot. What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh man. I'm lactose intolerant, so that's a bad question for me.
You like coconut ice cream?
I do like coconut ice cream. Yeah.
There you go. There's one you can eat.
Yeah.
But you may like coconut. I like vanilla. Who cares, right? We're both fat and happy and eating ice cream together. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that, right, my company that I choose as my favorite is better or than Jeff's favorite company. We're going to go make a killing after it. And, you used to be captive, just like I used to be captive, believe it or not, back in the day. Don't hold that against me, but that's where I did start off a little bit captive, and
most
sold
most
one
come
widget.
In this industry that way. Yeah.
But I sold one widget. We didn't have the blessing of being able to sell some prosperity, some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that. It's like, wow, right? We're the greatest force for good for our prospects comparatively when you've only got one offering and that's it. Mm-hmm. It's powerful, but that's gold. Stick with one carrier that you like, use some of the others for those of you watching, but really get good at one thing. And then your mindset, like you were saying, is freed up to be able to connect and handle your prospects. That's a big tip for a lot of agents. Do you find that a lot of agents want to I need to know how to do this company and that company, Jeff, and this company and that company and this company and that company? And what kind of problems is that?
Normally? I mean, they're just paralyzed. They failure to launch. It's a big reason. So we only contract agents with a few companies to start, and then they could get access, in a month or two, because we don't want to overwhelm them with all the options available to them. Like just the carriers that have the best processes, where it's a simple process, and it's a good carrier. So don't overwhelm yourself with options. It's there's no need for it.
Easy to do in this industry. It seems like a lot of agencies out there do that. They're like, here's 5, 6, 7, 10 carriers, go learn to write them all. And the agents are like deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
When they're new.
Good point.
That's a big tip for.
Yeah. It's, and when you're writing a bunch of carriers, and something falls off the books, you got to learn a process. Okay. How do I get this one back on the books? Right. And that becomes almost analysis paralysis. Okay. What's their process? Can I call and change the payment, or do they need to fill out a form? Now I got to look that up, and it just takes you off of your game, right? Like just know your processes, and just sticking with the core few carriers, like lead carrier, then you maybe a GI carrier, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. And that's solid. And what would you say is another kind of top producer way about them that helps them find better wealth? And so definitely they need to hone down to one carrier or two carriers, their top ones, and stick with them, whatever that may be. Just like ice cream, same idea. Pick your pleasure, pick your lead source. Great tip for those of you, the viewers watching. Pick your lead source. I would say double down on what works and quit doing what doesn't. Just because Jeff may like a certain kind of ice cream and I like a certain kind of ice cream doesn't mean that's the kind of ice cream that you're going to like. Leads are the same way. Pick your favorite lead source. Have you seen that too, Jeff, where like one agent really likes this kind of lead and another agent hates that one? I've seen that, and both of them kill it on whatever one is their favorite.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is personality match in a business match to different lead sources, because like you said, some agent may crush it at one source, another may do terrible, but crush it at another source. And, that is something that you need to carefully pick and understand. And there's, and yeah, absolutely. I see that.
It's big. And what would you say is another thing that one of your top producers do that maybe the agents that fail out other than action, don't execute with the telesales calls that they're handling?
Yeah, so, I mean, reporting is big. So to understand, I mean, I'm saying reporting on, lead to sale, but even conversation to sale, right? Because there's different metrics there, like your contact percentage, then the sales of your contacts made, but then you also have your placement rates, which we touched on as well, right? And really knowing those numbers and understanding everything, and to have those numbers at your fingertips and evaluate them every month is something that top producers do. And it's something that's, and they have the data to do that. They have the historical data to see how they're improving over time, how their persistency is, how their placement is, how their average premium is. Is it increasing? If it decreased month over month, oh, what happened? Am I saying something different? What like, and being able to go back and figure that out, because top producers, they're making good money. And at some point, you're going to max out how much time you can spend on the phone in a single day. So you got to optimize certain things in your business to make more money. And so when you look at reports and you kind of see over time, hey, my close of contacts made has gone down for some reason. Okay, that's where I need to work on. Or my contacts made, if you're working outbound leads, right? My contacts made have really come down. Is that a Facebook thing? Is that a what is that? Is that my activity? Am I being flagged as spam? Is my phone being flagged as spam?
Well, that's a risk.
What is it? Yeah. So and really tracking those metrics. And so, reporting and tracking those metrics is a big thing top producers is doing as well.
Love that. And that's big. I mean, you got to be watching things. It's amazing how many agents are hitting spam all day and then wondering why they go all day mind-numbingly calling and wonder why nobody picks up the phone. And then they go call me, or they call the lead providers like, uh-oh, I'm spammed. No wonder. Yeah. That's ugly.
It's a big thing right now. And it's, really just in the past year, it's become more of a nuisance than ever before. And so that's something, we have an all systems go checklist at the beginning of the day. And one of them is checking your phone, making sure it's not marked as spam, doing a test call just to make sure your dialing session is going to be, as fruitful as possible.
Absolutely. This business is not, it's not easy for those of you watching. 90% of the agent force will fail. All right. And that's industry wide. That's not with particular agencies, but industry wide, 90% will fail. 8% will just have amazing success and dominate. You'll be like a Jeff Root one day, hopefully, and just love what you do and be successful. But it's not because it was just a very, very, easy thing. Simple yes, easy no. So for those of the viewers watching, I hope you appreciated this content today. Jeff, thank you, brother, for spending time with the audience and our work family watching this. I appreciate you greatly. Keep doing the great work. For those of you, the viewers watching, subscribe to his channel. I'll put his link down here in the description. And Jeff at digitalBGA, and it's digitalBGA.com. For those of you who's watching, thank you for joining with me. Jeff, appreciate you, brother. Keep doing the amazing work. Like-minded in the industry. So thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Let's do it again soon. All right, man. See you.